Welcome, welcome. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to EPIC38.
Powered by Intel. I am Romaria.
We've rehearsed that so well.
We did. Beautiful.
Yeah, my name is Zeroy, and we'll be bringing you the best StarCraft 2 the UK scene has to offer. But
yeah.
Until then...
until then, we're in the lower elimination bracket.
We're in the lower elimination bracket, not the upper bracket for now.
Yep. Molten versus MarsBar is coming up. Quite a relatively close matchup, about 1,000 MMR difference between the players. Interesting styles that they're going to play with. MarsBar known a bit to be tricky, coming out with some specific tactics that is going to be prepared beforehand. Yeah. Molten's probably going to look to play pretty standard and rely on his macro and later game.
Do you think that Molten is a big fan of the Invisible Man?
Always is a big fan. Not particularly in PvZ.
No?
No. Mainly in PvP and PvT he'll go for that.
Yeah.
Against Zerg, he just likes to go up to 3 bases, play that solid robo style and transition into carriers eventually if he needs to.
Okay.
But I highly doubt we're going to get to that stage of a game anyway.
Okay. Well, let's see how it goes. We're actually in the lobby already. Yep. Both players are ready. So we're just letting the players know we can go for the countdown. So, yeah, the first map will be Royal Blood. Again, I'm not particularly familiar with this map pool.
Yeah, pretty standard map. Decent rush distance, nothing short, nothing long. It's a nice balanced map, I think, from what we've seen so far.
I believe this is the map where Zane actually misplaced his pylon.
Yes.
So, do you think Molten's seen that and realised, actually, I need to be really careful where I put that pylon?
No. I think it's definitely a possibility that Molten would do something like that. And then he'd probably be like, oh dear, I'm going to just cannon rush instead.
Fair enough.
Kind of thing. But yeah, as we are loading into map 1 here.
Yeah, we're loading into the game. As soon as Molten's PC wakes up a little bit. Early morning here at Epic Land. I think
Powered by Intel.
Early morning here as the players sort of dribbled in one by one.
Yeah.
All right, let's introduce the players then.
Yeah, spawning in the top right position as a purple Protoss playing for gold masters, it's Molten.
And in the bottom left, the blue Zerg player, it is MarsBar.
As we actually see an early drone coming out here by MarsBar. Interesting.
It's just a 14.
Oh, no. Oh. It's a 14-14-14. So
he's going to do what AC did against Iger, do you think?
I'm not sure. I was talking to MarsBar before Molten arrived today, and I was talking to him about this build a little bit, where you go 14 arch, 14 gas, 14 pole, and just spam Zerglings across the other side of the map.
Yeah, so it is literally a Zergling rush there.
Yeah. Okay. So he'll be getting the gas and he'll be getting the speed, so it's not quite like what AC did against
Iger. I mean, AC went double hatch before pull, so obviously this is a major, major difference to that.
And the key thing here is whether or not Molten actually realises that this is what's going on, because he sees the archery, he sees the early gas and the pull timings, but it's whether or not he actually realises that this is what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, surely you might just look at this and think, okay, it's an early hatch, it's an early pull. He might just drone up after this. Inefficient, but it's not necessarily bad. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah, it depends how he's approaching it. He knows MarsBar quite well. They've played a lot of series at Epic Land together. He knows that he's a tricky player. Yeah. I think Molten coming in here, he's going to know exactly what's up, if I'm perfectly honest.
Okay, I have to see what the response is, though. Yeah. So he's obviously going for that wall off there with the Cyber Core. Nice early expansion there as well. Yeah,
I don't quite like the Cyber Core placement there. I mean, it's a little different. I'd rather have it a bit further back so that it's not so exposed. There's a lot of surface area there for the links to surround on it.
Yeah.
If it was a bit further back, I'd like it. As we do see the 12
links on the way. Speed in the production tab. You see the probe here, just monitoring what's coming out of that base. He'll see these links, and so Molten knows exactly what's going on now.
And we do actually see that Zealot was already queued up before the Zerglings popped, so he was perfectly...
Shield battery as well. Yeah.
Perfect read here by Molten.
Molten knows exactly what's going on. So what do you see after the Adept here? After the Zealot here? Adept, obviously.
Yeah, Adept. And then it depends how Mars wants to play it. I mean, he is going back into droning, so I'd expect eventually, a Stargate, exactly what I was about to say, to be dropped here by Molten.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of timing here before the Adept's out where they might get some damage done, but with shield battery coming up, he doesn't want to let them in, though.
No. Yeah. You can actually see this is quite a lot of the Zerglings, but with the Adepts out, you're totally right. I just don't see how they can get much more done here.
Yeah, perfect read there by Molten and a really solid defence.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see, as you said, MarsBar going back into the drone production.
Yeah.
Will we expect to see a third base soon out of Molten, MarsBar, do you think?
Probably, yeah. I think it's very difficult to play from this position now.
Yeah.
I think, there's a couple of ways you can approach it. Go into an early lair and maybe go for Ling drops or Nidus just to use that early speed and the Lings that he's got.
Yeah.
Or put down the third base and try and play from behind. As he actually catches the 2 Adepts out of position here, this is a really nice pick-up here by Molten, by MarsBar. Really.
Actually, both Adepts there went down, so
yeah.
really nice there by MarsBar just to catch them both.
Yeah.
I guess what was the thinking there for Molten to move out with those 2 Adepts?
I don't think he was thinking, if I'm perfectly honest. I think it was a mistake.
Yeah.
He was wanting to get to the other side of the map to get some scouting information. That's apparent, but I think it was a mistake. There was no need. He already had the information that he needed.
I saw the Lings running back home. I was thinking, well, why would MarsBar bring his Lings back home when he's got complete map control with Link speed?
Yeah.
I know it was just to intercept those two Adepts.
Yeah, really nice play there by MarsBar. As we actually see the Void Ray coming out now for Molten, followed by the Oracle.
Yeah.
So he's going to look to clear out the Overlords and get a path for the Oracle to go straight for them drones.
Yeah. You can see this Void Ray out there hunting for those Overlords, but it's not going to find them until a little bit. Maybe this Overlords, if it's going in for a scout, then the Void Ray will intercept it. But I guess just seeing the Void Ray is scouting in of itself at this point for MarsBar.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a pretty standard open here.
So this Void Ray actually skirts all the way around it. That is mighty unfortunate.
And the Oracle is actually going to run straight into the path of the Zerglings and the Overlord as well and be scouted straight away.
Yeah.
Spores are on its way. Roach Wobbin is actually dropped as well. So MarsBar's going to look here not to take too much drone damage, which he can't really afford.
No, not at all. You can see the third base coming up for both players. The Oracle comes in, but it's seen immediately by multiple Queens, and so just a little tag for some vision before leaving. Explosives to monitor the lair timing, but the lair is ultimately on the second base anyway. So
yeah, a few Overlords being picked up here by the Void Ray. A bit clumsy of MarsBar to actually leave them into position, as it is going to supply block him quite a bit actually.
Yeah, still no Overlords in the production tab, which is interesting. There we go, 4 queued up.
I think looking at this, he's just going to roll down the Roach key. There's no drones in production. He's so far behind. He's got that Roach Warren, I think.
So you think it's going to be some kind of 40 drone all in?
I think it has to be honest. With the 4 Overlords in production as well, I just don't see. Actually, we see the Spire coming down.
Spire, wow.
Interesting.
Okay. After seeing a Stargate as well, I find that really surprising.
Yeah, I am too. Especially since he doesn't really have anything to stop Molten actually scouting this. It is a nice position at the back of the first base, the main base.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a bit difficult for Molten to scout it, but he's got 2 Oracles, so he should be able to get that information.
Yeah. I mean, we did see MarsBar queue up about 14 drones all at once, so it looks like he is trying to play an economic game out of this rather than some kind of all-in.
And this is going to be a lot of damage here for Molten.
Yeah, really nice to pick up all those drones and the Queen as well, let's not forget that.
Even more drones going down here.
So all those drones that MarsBar queued up have just been rinsed by these 2 Oracles that are going to get out, so complete free damage there for Molten.
Nice play there by Molten as his third base is up, charge, +1, and the Templar Archives have been dropped.
Yeah. Molten taking a very healthy worker advantage, or temporarily at the very least.
And this is the sort of position that Molten actually excels in. He's really comfortable playing in this mid-late game macro against Zerg, and he'll probably be feeling very comfortable with his position right now.
Absolutely. You can just see MarsBar still struggling to get any drone saturation on this third base, so Molten was just going to essentially take over.
As we do actually see the scout there coming out of a Spire from Molten, which is really big. He switches straight into them Phoenix, and he's probably going to drop a second Stargate anytime now, which he has done.
Yeah, second Stargate, instant Phoenix.
Yeah.
We saw the Templar Archives in the production tab earlier. I'm 99% sure. Yeah, there it is, Templar Archives. So Archons on the horizon as well.
Yeah, eventually he's going to build static defense. He's going to get batteries and cannons in his bases to protect his workers, while building a few Phoenix just to repel the Mutalisk, and then go into that Templar tech Archons and then push, I guess, with a Stalker.
The Observer as well also sees the Mutalisks coming across the map, all 9 or 10 of them. But they're going to be intercepted very quickly by a Phoenix and an Archon that's nearly finished. There's a cannon.
Actually, he catches the Phoenix out of position here.
Molten just not looking, loses the Phoenix for free. The Mutalisks are going to come into the second base, but the cannon's here to deflect them. There is one Stalker here, but the shield battery is enough to protect it. Yeah. These Mutalisks are going to get shooed away by that Archon and the Void Ray.
MarsBar should just go for the mineral line. There's no point attacking the army here. He's not going to be able to beat it straight up.
I know the cannon is slightly scary, but you can still, if you just stack the Mutalisks all on top of each other and just go in and out, you should be able to get enough shots onto the probes that you can still get some economic damage. But instead, Bolter's just flying around trying to get something without endangering, I suppose, his Mutalisks in any way. He seems quite. He looks quite nervous in the way he's handling his Mutalisks. Yeah,
definitely. I think, you know, he had an opening there for him to actually go and do some economic damage, which he really needed to do. And he just didn't take it, unfortunately, from MarsBar.
You can see these Oracles and Mutalisks just fly right on past each other. The Oracles go straight into the Queens, though, turn around just at the last minute, but it's too late for one of them. Goes down, tags the Queens, which is just a bit of a desperation thing there, I think, for Molten once those Oracles have been condemned. Interestingly, he's rebuilding one of those Oracles as well, rather than going into more Phoenix. I think he's going to rely more and more on simply just Archons to defend against those Mutalisks, it looks like.
I think he's seen that there's not any more Mutalisks out. The flock has stayed relatively the same, as we see in the production tab, that MarsBar isn't actually committing to them.
He's going into Roaches and Ravagers. It's a more rounded out unit composition.
As actually we see that +2 here might get cancelled. I mean, there are a few Phoenix on the way, but I wouldn't hate MarsBar just actually targeting them down, as he is doing.
I mean, Molten needs to kite. You cannot just stand and fight with Phoenix.
No.
Really? Obviously, it's a bit of a micro war, but these Mutalisks, you're totally right. They could still cancel that +2 if Molten doesn't micro those Phoenix correctly. Mutalisks are now starting to dance in and out as they should do. And he's going to focus down another Phoenix. +2's going to get cancelled. It's a very nice pick off there for MarsBar. Another Phoenix going to go down. Okay, Molten needs to react properly to this. I honestly think that MarsBar could have gotten a bit more there. If he just stayed there, like, there's nothing here for Molten. There's no cannons or anything. There's no Archons nearby. He could have just carried on pestering that infrastructure.
And the thing is, Molten didn't continue to ramp up. He's only now taking his 4th base, which is really... as we actually see the Oracles getting caught out of here. They're both going to go down.
Ooh, one just about gets away. 10 HP. The Mutalisks are not going to get baited into that army. Look at that, so many High Templar.
Did Storm complete?
No, there's no Storm. He just wants them for the auto attack, obviously.
Obviously. A bit of sloppy play coming out now from Molten. He got himself into a really solid lead, but then he just let MarsBar get back into it.
Again, you look at the drone counts. I mean, MarsBar, once again, he's back on that 70, 80 drone count that Zergs love to have. He's getting his upgrades. He's got a rounded out unit composition now. He can just look to go to Infestation Pit and Hive even, I think, at this point.
I think the Infestation Pit is already down. So you're completely right there. Get the Hive out, get them Vipers out. As we just see these Mutalisks going to be traded out here. I don't think he wants to keep them around much longer.
No, not at all. I mean, again, I still find it an interesting choice that he would loop the Mutalisks around to this location rather than just pass to the infrastructure up here in the main base.
This next attack is going to be crucial for Molten because he doesn't have Storm and he doesn't realise. He's going to come in, try and storm the army, and
still
it's not going to work.
Storm.
Oh, I'm pretty scared here for Molten.
He has still got 5 Immortals, and that will do a lot of damage to these Roaches. But here comes the fight. The Zerg is swimming up onto the high ground. He's trying to get a concave. Nice force fields, though, by the Protoss player. The Biles go down, but they don't really connect with any units. They do cancel that one force field for what it's worth, but MarsBar pulls away.
As we do see
Storm just now started, but it's not yet finished. Molten is trying to buy time for that upgrade. As soon as that upgrade finishes, he's in a mighty fine position, but until that point, very, very dicey.
But of course, MarsBar isn't aware that Storm isn't complete.
Yeah, of course. He just looks at all those high energy Templar and is thinking, oh, this is really scary.
This is the one timing that MarsBar actually has to win this game. He needs to get all of his army together and go for it.
You can just see both armies sort of playing footsies there with each other. I don't know if MarsBar realised just how dicey that was for Molten there. He pulls all the way back, presumably to protect his own 4th base. But, you know, 4 base against 4 base, that's good for the Protoss.
Yeah, I think Molten's a bit lucky here. I think the amount of Templar that he had persuaded MarsBar that he actually had Storm completed.
Yes,
and so he wasn't keen on taking that engagement because he was so scared of his army getting stormed. But as we see Molten now pushing with Storm complete and +2.
Now, I would say this is the opposite now what it was before. This army is very scary now for Molten.
And a
nice storm on those Banelings. They all die for free. No damage done there for the Banelings. Molten still needs to be careful though. If MarsBar can get a good concave, that's still bad for Molten.
As we see MarsBar actually switching back into the Mutalisks now. He just made a round of 13. Interesting choice, I think.
Yeah, he's obviously trying to go for some kind of backstabbing maneuver. 22 drones have gone down in the meantime. This DT harass has cleaned out an entire base worth of workers. So MarsBar is essentially down onto 3 base economy. versus a 4-base Protoss. This is looking better and better for Molten as time goes on now.
Yeah, really nice play now here coming out of Molten.
Yep.
Quite
Just
nice.
manoeuvring really nicely there. Storm on the Mutalisks and the Ravagers. I just don't know how MarsBar can actually engage in this army now.
No.
Molten is just eking out advantages, and it looks like MarsBar just can't replenish his army.
No, he's taking too much economic damage, unfortunately, and he had the one chance with a big army that he had.
Yes,
and I think if he'd have pushed into that 4th base position, as we do see GG coming out there by MarsBar.
GG is called.
Wow.
Yeah, game 1 to Molten.
Yeah.
Bit back and forth.
Yeah.
Opportunities for both players.
Yeah,
mistakes out of both players.
Definitely a lot of mistakes by both players there. I think Molten will be a bit upset that he let MarsBar get back into that and for it to be so close. He was in control. He had a dominant position after holding the 14-14, and then he just didn't push on.
Yeah, there was one time where the 2 oracles killed a queen and like 12 drones, and yet somehow Molten let MarsBar get back into the game even after that point.
Yeah, at that point he should have gone into his 4th base and continued, powering on and getting his macro infrastructure going. But we just didn't see that, and he let MarsBar back into the game. Of course, the mistake of not researching Storm was massive, and I think MarsBar could have capitalised on that. But as it was, he didn't know that Storm wasn't complete, and he didn't want to take that risk.
No. All right then, game 2 is Gressvan. I actually spoke with EXO yesterday about this, and EXO did not like this map for Protoss at all. I
would not be surprised if MarsBar Ling rushes again. I think he'll go for a standard natural timing, and then go into speedlings because it's quite difficult to actually wall off as a Protoss here. So
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the exact reason why EXO said he didn't like this map at all.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's been let in, to be honest. I'm surprised Molten didn't veto this. But maybe we'll see something coming out of Molten as well.
Yeah, let's introduce the players then. In the bottom right is the blue Zerg player, MarsBar.
And in the top left position, currently 1-0 up, playing for Gold Masters, Molten. Interesting to see what's going to come out of both players here. Not a map that you can cannon rush on particularly.
No.
No. Not a lot of space behind the mineral lines at the back of the natural. So I don't expect to see that out of Molten on this map. And as I said, I would expect just to see the natural dropping at 16.
Gateway not forged. You're totally right there on the cannon rush. We see MarsBar going for the, they look like a 16 pull.
It's going to be 16, I think.
So is this an aggressive or just simply being safe for MarsBar?
It can be a bit of both. So you get that earlier link speed.
Yeah.
Or he can be thinking, well, Molten's got an history of proxy gating, dropping the forge.
Yes,
and he wants to be perfectly safe against that. But I think Molten's going to come in here, see this, and he's going to be perfectly happy, as we do see that MarsBar is trying to take that natural base. Yeah,
well, he's going to take the 3rd base as his 2nd, or he's going to try and dummy out the probe. The probe thinks he's blocking the expansion, and yet it's over here, going to his natural, which is the much preferred location for the Zerg player.
But MarsBar's made a crucial mistake here. He's not put drones onto gas, so he's taken the early gas, but he's only now saturated it.
Yes. So he's got a bit of extra mineral income, I guess you could argue.
Yeah.
But you see a 2nd gain here very quickly for Molten, so potential adapt pressure.
No, I think this is just purely to defend against speedlings. I mean, it is nice because you can, as you said, get that double adept and get them across the map. But it does delay the natural slightly. But it's
probably worth it for the safety though of the extra wall off, especially given the Zerg player's gone for that pull first.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good stuff. We do see some links coming out, but again, we don't see any more. So after this Overlord, we'll see what MarsBar makes with this extra lava. If it's more drones, then obviously this is just to be safe. If it's more lings, and potentially, as you said, some Zergling aggression maybe.
I wouldn't like more lings, I think the drones are the right call. He has scouted the wall off by Molten. I think it would be an incredibly poor decision to go into Zerglings there.
I always get this wrong, but the Stargate gets instantly scouted as well by MarsBar.
And Molten's actually dropping a shield battery there. Still a bit concerned that there are Zerglings on the way.
Yes, yeah.
I don't hate it, to be honest.
I mean, the probe got killed over here, and so as soon as the scout is killed, the Zerg player is free to do whatever he wants with the lava, and so potential for a round of lings doesn't hurt. It's only 100 minerals. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, definitely. As we do see some lings coming over here, they're going to poke at the Cybercore. but they're not going to have anything done.
I was about to say, interestingly, there were no Adepts queued, so these Lings were pretty free to get some tickle damage onto the Cyber Core, but, you know, missed what was going on there exactly.
There's an Adept in the main base taking out some probes.
Ah, there it is. Yes, yeah. But the Adept will go down 2 drones. I don't think that's enough, really, is it, for one Adept?
Yeah, I think you're happy with one Adept. You got a bit of a drone pull as well on the natural. I think
I
that's
can see that at least 2 of these drones were on orange HP, so a bit of a micro battle going on there, it looks like. Lings are coming back in, but the Adepts are now here to shoo them away. Void Ray first, once again, just to clean up the Overlords. It's a bit like opening a Viking, I guess, as a Terran player. Yeah,
I have seen Molten going to Phoenix rather than Void Ray. But I think he's doing Void Ray against MarsBar specifically just to be safe.
Sure, in case there's a Roach all in or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's a safe, solid choice to make in this situation, and I don't dislike it.
No real aggression coming out of MarsBar, though. We see him going up to that 3rd base. Nice, standard, macro-oriented play.
Yep, and I'd expect to see Molten dropping the 3rd base anytime about now.
Well, you know, he's a bit locked into his base now because of these Zerglings. No extra gateway units yet. He's obviously waiting for Warp Gate to finish before warping in.
As we actually see a Baneling nest now coming down by MarsBar.
How much of this... Do you think this is going to turn into aggression, though? Because MarsBar is still droning up, so I don't anticipate this would turn into a Baneling bust, even though it could do in theory.
I don't see the point of putting the Baneling nest down if he wasn't going to be aggressive with it. The safer choice probably would have been a Roach Warren rather than a Baneling nest. Yeah,
I mean, you're totally right. Look at that, 22 links in the production tab. Obviously, MarsBar trying to put the pressure on, but with Oracles out, Void Rays, Shield Batteries, warping in Adepts 2 at a time, is this going to be enough, do you think?
I'd probably say no, but there are situations where you do enough damage and flood with Lings afterwards. That, you know, it can overwhelm, but this Oracle is actually going to...
gets eyes on the Banelings, know exactly what's going on. It's actually going to kill some of these Banelings that are morphing before they even get there. So now only 4 are left. It may be even fewer by the time he gets into the wall. That's not enough to break through. That is not enough. The Zealot stays alive thanks to the shield battery. This attack just looks silly now. Excellent defense there out of Molten.
Unfortunate there for MarsBar to get scouted, but I don't think there was actually enough Banelings there to get through the shield battery anyway.
We see MarsBar now going for a round of drones as well in the production tab, so I just found it interesting that he chose not to go for an all-in, but nor to just go for the macro replay. He sort of did a half and half, and now he's worse off economically and didn't get any damage done on the other end. So it looked like almost indecision in MarsBar's strategy.
That's it, and you said before the Baneling nest that it was still droning before going into there. I think this sort of attack, you either full commit or you don't make it. And not a bit half and half. As we actually see 7 drones going down by these 2 Oracles, which are going to get out as well. Really
just
nice play,
shield and health damage, but I mean, you take that every day just to get rid of those drones.
Great play there by Molten. As we actually see
a Ling as well. Ling run by, but there's so many Protoss units here. That's going to get defended very, very easily. So MarsBar looking a bit worse for wear here, coming into the mid game. These 3 Oracles now sharking around, presumably to come into the main base, just to scout out the tech, just to keep an eye on what MarsBar is doing and potentially get even more drone kills.
As we see Molten just going through the routines of getting the macro going. He's getting his Twilight Council, he's getting his probes up, he's getting his Forge. He's going to come in here, see what the tech is by MarsBar.
Just tags the main base, sees everything, sees the lair finish, and the natural as well.
As we do actually see 4 gases going down, so I do expect him to drop the Spire again. As we actually see the Queen being
picked off. Do you reckon these Oracles could go down if they go back to the main base? There's one here on very low HP, but they do turn around, so no problems there.
Nice play there by Molten.
Observer coming out now. I was just going to keep an eye on things as the creep starts to spread across the map.
As we actually see an Hydralisk Den coming here by MarsBar.
Hydra Den. Do you see any Evo chambers? Not yet. So +1 upgrade, still quite far away here for the Zerg player. But again, I guess as a Zerg, you just need to focus on one or the other. You need to focus on unit tech, but also your economy, particularly in MarsBar's case. So your drone counts in particular.
And he has droned up nicely. I mean, it'd like to be a bit higher. As we do actually see him double expanding. I really like this play coming out by MarsBar here.
1, 2 expansions,
Really nice there.
Okay, once again, Oracle's sharking around just to keep tabs on the Zerg. But this looks well defended now with the Spore. He's got multiple Queens here. I don't see these Oracles getting too many more drone kills.
But again, similar to last game, we see that Molten's favouring going into gateways rather than the 4th Nexus, which is
transfuse. So one Oracle does go down.
It
The
doesn't want
Queen's
to
now
lose the
here.
second one.
No.
Oh.
I mean, losing one was slightly clumsy there, having tanked a few hits from the Spore Crawler, but you know, at least he got a Queen for it.
I think we're going to see Molten go for a big attack here.
Molten, yeah. I guess he's starting to explode up into gateways now. He's on 7, building 2 more.
Yeah.
Charlie's about to finish. He's getting his Immortals now. He hasn't forgotten Storm this time.
Yeah. I'd be very surprised if he did this time.
Yes, yeah. And we see MarsBar again. He's sort of capped himself on 60 workers, which is not where you want to be in terms of a Zerg economy, especially if you're going into Hydra, Lurker, Bane. You need a really high drone count just to keep that unit production up.
I mean, typically, if you're going to do some sort of like 3-4 base timing attack as Roach, as Zerg, you want to go up to 66 workers, and then this sort of style where you're playing, you know, Hydra, Bane, Ling, Lurker, you want to go 80 plus really, just so that you can make them trades over and over again.
I mean, just so the Oracles saw exactly what was going on in terms of MarsBar's unit composition, going for those Hydra lists. So Hydra Ling Bane, it looks like, is the choice for now for MarsBar. But my understanding of CVP is that Hydra Ling Bane is more of a pressure sort of unit composition. You don't want to end there. You want to end up with that composition in the late game. It falls off really hard. Yeah,
the problem is that once it's scouted, you expect the Protoss player to drop a couple of more Stargates and go into carriers.
Yeah.
So then if you're stuck on that kind of composition, you can get rolled really easy, as we do actually see the fleet beacon now coming down by Molten.
Yeah. So there's the response by the Protoss player. Now see these Lings moving around. Again, we've seen quite a passive, I'd say, last 4 or 5 minutes here. Both players just macroing up, keeping tabs on each other, but I think this just favours Molten, surely.
Yeah,
he's got better tech. Sure, the Zerg has Hive, but I mean, he's going for Lurkers, and yet the Protoss player going for Air, so...
It depends if Molten actually has the read that the Lurkers are morphing. I mean, there will be a time where, if he has enough Lurkers, he could actually do some damage. But I just don't think he's got enough Lurkers to actually worry Molten that much at the moment.
I mean, so far he's got 2 Lurkers and 2 more on the way, and that's just not enough, really.
No.
That's not scary as a Protoss player.
Exactly. You can literally just like move in with this army and take it out. You don't even need to worry about going into air. As we do actually see now, the 2nd and 3rd Stargates dropping, and Flux Veins for Void Rays.
Yeah, first carriers on the way as well, so I think we can just open up the popcorn, sit back, relax, and we're just going to chill out for a bit, I think. It's quite good. I need to catch up on some sleep, actually.
Yeah?
I got to bed quite early in the morning.
Right. I had a decent night's sleep last night.
Yeah. Where did you have dinner, by the way? I went to the Hungry Horse just down the road.
We ordered Domino's because we had a clan war last night.
Oh, okay,
So we was going to go to Domino's. Nando's, sorry. But, yeah,
we went to Nando's as well, but apparently so did the rest of Epic Land. We were told on the door, oh yeah, by the way, it's a 50 minute wait for a table. So that's why we went to the Hungry Horse instead.
Yeah.
Lots of catering options here at Epic Land, I guess you can say.
Is there?
Yeah. Oh, obviously, you know, we're next to the town centre, we're next to the, I forget the name of the road, but the A road.
Yeah, plenty of local amenities to satisfy yourself.
You do see the Protoss player poking in, but of course with these Lurkers here now, they're in such efficient numbers that I don't think Molten could break in.
I don't think he wants to anyway. I think he's happy to be on the map and apply some pressure.
Massive warping in the main, actually. This 11, 12 chargelets going into the main. Queen goes down, drones go down. There's not enough Hydras here to break it, so they have to pull away. Zerglings are now in, so it looks like...
we actually see an attack on the 3rd base as well, actually. Really nice defensive setup there by MarsBar.
Yeah.
And in the north as well, the main army's coming. There's a lot of static defence, and if the Lurkers are coming here, Molten doesn't need to do this. He doesn't need to be here. Massive storms on top of the Lurkers.
Good storms, but again, just not enough to kill them off. And once they're burrowed, you do not want to engage into them at all. But Molten's choosing to do that anyway. A couple more storms and maybe they'll go down, but I guess with the spread of the army, the splash damage just isn't maximised at all, and so Molten gets away with a base kill. Still in the main base, a lot of drones going down there.
Yeah, 24 drones going down there in the main base,
and
the base falling.
Nice pickoffs there for Molten.
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily needed to do that, you know, but he obviously felt like there was an opportunity there with his multitasking to actually get it down.
Nine Dark Templar just got warped in on Molten's side of the map. They're just going to sprint across. I mean, maybe they can... Maybe they can snipe down the Spore with Blink, surely.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to go in without Blink, as he said.
Yes,
Once he does have that Blink, he's able to jump on top of the Spore and shoot, kill it.
keep thinking I see something flashing on the minimap, but it's not. It's just the workers. Okay, so DT's now here. I suppose when Blink finishes, that's when Molten will choose to jump on in.
Yeah, I think so. And I think now, you know, Molten's getting to that sort of level of carriers where it's going to be really important for
three
MarsBar
carriers, three on the way. It just looks like there's a lot of Hydralisks here, so maybe with the abducts.
Yeah, and that's what MarsBar's going to look to do, just pick up a few carriers here and there, bring them into the Hydra range and shoot them down. And really at this stage it comes down to more who has better control over the spellcasters.
Yes,
and efficiency.
I suppose he's also got better multitasking, because Molten's still going for these charged up run-bys in the main base, getting even more drone kills. Molten's now going into this base. There are some lurkers here, but not many. Storm goes down, picking off one of them. Queen goes down. Big stomps on these lurkers at the top side, but they're so far away from the hatchery. Molten should still be able to pick off this base and get out without taking too much damage, and he does.
Really nice play there by Molten. Just coming in, sniping the base. Just
completely kneecapping MarsBar's economy. This base still at the top side still hasn't been taken. So actually, MarsBar's back on 3-base economy.
And the thing is, it's keeping MarsBar at home, and he's occupying his time enough. Usually in this sort of playstyle, you'd expect the Zerg to be doing Baneling run-bys or Zergling run-bys to...
Oh no, please react. Okay, those Dark Templar will... well, I would say get picked up, but one of them does get picked up, and the retreat is there. But that Hive now looks very tasty for a run-by.
It certainly does. I mean, it doesn't quite have the supply to walk in anything.
I mean, you can see why MarsBar's keeping these Hydralisks here. He just wants to defend this Hive at all costs. If that goes down, then that's
the main engagement here coming out.
All those lurkers go down on the front. The tanking units just retreat. They cannot fight these units alone. To be fair, all the High Templar go down. The Vipers go down there, which is super expensive for the Zerg. The Hydras are now going down one by one, and the carriers still stand strong. There's just nothing here for the Zerg player. GG is called. Molten takes it 2-0.
Yeah, great game there from Molten. As I said at the start of the show, Molten really excels in that late game macro.
Absolutely.
Against Zerg. Taking out Figaro yesterday 2-0 in the group stages, one of the highest ranked Zerg players here in this tournament. And we see why.
No, looking very comfortable going into that late mid and late game, certainly.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. 2-minute break, cool. Next game will be Mix versus Bellator in the upper brackets, which will be very exciting.
Yep.
Certainly, they're not only high level, but they're very close together in terms of their MMR range.
And they also played, I think, at the last EPIC LAN as well.
They did, yes. I can't remember what the result was.
3-2.
3-2 to
Bellator.
Ooh, close.
Yeah.
Okay, so our first best of 5 in the upper bracket. Looking forward to it. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.